together in a neighborhood, accepted to take guns from the state. Others refused, and it started like this. Now, some of these families or neighbors have come to terms, and they have come together, and they have seemingly solved their problem. But in some areas, it requires the interference of the government. And integration of these people requires giving them jobs in a way, so that they don't continue with this animosity. And I don't know how they are going to deal with that. It's a quite hard problem. And in certain critical regions, there are still people who, I have heard last week, are taking guns to guard some places. So that is a very critical question, and to this time, the only positive thing about it, that some of those neighbors and families have come together and solved their problems with the help of the Kurdish political. Secondly, Kurd, Gibi and Erdogan. That's not the main problem. The other part is our main problem. I don't think so. Of course, in Republican People's Party, there are very serious nationalists, where traditional people who do not want to recognize, to come to terms with this problem. But there are also some people who are much closer to our people or our party supporters than the right-wing people. And some of those people, if you follow, have showed their color, and I think they are going to continue with that. And maybe the party will be split, maybe.
We will be waiting for that moment.
But I would not compare that. That has been a very nationalist and sometimes very vicious towards the Kurdish people, but in the final analysis, what separates opposition is the ideological grounds, which I name as the contemporary principles of democracy. And I am sure that those young people from RPP will come to terms with that, and I cannot compare that with most of the people in the governing party. Reforms, how can you put those into effect with this resilient bureaucracy? That has always been a question in Turkey. The bureaucracy has always been resilient. But for example, in rewriting textbooks, I have been involved in, recently they have tried a lot in the Ministry of National Education, which is named only with the French and the Turks, the other countries don't have such a name.
Greece.
Greece, nation, is it? Oh, shame, what a shame. For my neighbors. That is, they are changing now, for example, the place of women and history. They are trying very hard. They are not very successful with it, but there is a free and voluntary try to study the history of some of the women that has contributed to the history of the peoples of Turkey, for example. change, you know, that bureaucracy always takes its subjects from intermediary organizations, civil society organizations who have mastered in and has specialized in some things. That's how the environmental issue has come to the ground for Turkey. There was not a ministry 20 years ago, but first it came with the specialists of the